You can stream us on all platforms, including Google, Spotify, etc., etc. Welcome to the Tony Michael Show podcast.
Here is Tony Michael!
Today, my guest is nobody other than Katisha Adams. Let's welcome Katisha. What's up, girl?
What's up?
How's everything going?
I'm good.
I
Good.
want everybody to know your story. Just so y'all know, Katisha has been around for a long time. Disney was holding on to her. And I can tell you, I worked for Disney, and when I worked for them, she got me in there, and I saw what Katisha was doing, and I was amazed. So, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So wait, give them I want you to give them a synopsis of how long you've been dancing and how long you've been in the industry.
Okay. I've probably been dancing at, let's just say this, over 20 years.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been dancing since I was little. So, I mean, in terms of, going into choreography, I mean, I've been doing that since like 6th grade. You know how you be on the yard choreographing drill teams
Making up
and
a
all that kind of
routine.
stuff. Yeah, I was doing that back then. But I really got serious into choreography when I went to college.
Okay.
I went to college. So in college, that's when I was introduced to Disney. I didn't really know that much about Disney. Actually, in our community, no one really went.
We don't hardly ever go, y'all.
We didn't know about
Tickets
Disney.
165 and up.
So, I mean, basically, my introduction to Disney was I started choreographing at El Camino College. That's where I started choreographing. I did this piece.
So you from LA?
No, I was actually born in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where my actual family is from.
Okay.
My mom moved out here when I was 4. My mom was in a band called the Dragonfly. Okay. Dragonfly, and my stepdad was actually one of the original bass players for Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Go, girl.
Yeah. So, I came up in it. But yeah, so El Camino, when I was at El Camino, we used to do these things called dance consortiums. Mm-hmm. And dance consortiums is where all the different colleges come together and they put on these big shows and whatever. Okay. So that's back when dance production was like huge before everything going on social media. And so basically what happened, the actual director at Trade Tech College was friends with one of the directors at Disney, and this is when Lion King came out. Okay. So they needed some brown skinned dancers. That's some pretty much folks. What happened.
Some black folks.
They need some black folks, and so pretty much the entire dance department went down to audition.
Did everybody get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Everybody got it.
They can't deny it.
Right? They can't deny the talent. So that was really my introduction to Disney, and to see how big the productions were. The actual parades itself are so big, and the actual following and everything. I was like, wow, like I've never seen anything like this, and I loved performing it. I mean, you just felt like you were just on this huge stage, and so on and so on. And basically, that's where I started to visualize that one day I was going to be
with them, right?
So I did several things there. I did that. I did the Hunchback of Notre Dame stage show. Mm-hmm. I did all these special events. I did a couple of like Christmas specials on television and everything like that. And then I left. And when I left, the reason why I left is because the actual director, her name is Sylvia Haas. Sylvia Haas is still there. She does all like the major stuff.
Right, I met her when I was there. When you brought me in, I remember her.
Yes, you met Sylvia. Right. Sylvia's from Russia. Okay. And Sylvia came to me and she said, "You need to leave." And I was like, "Why do I need to leave?" And she said, "Because you are going to get stuck." She was like, "You're super duper talented. You need to get out. You need to get out in the industry. You need to really do what you love." And she was like, "I've seen your actual choreography and you're actually amazing." And she said, "If you stay here, you're not going to grow."
And you're technically trained completely too, right?
I'm
for sure. So everything.
Technically trained. Yeah, technically trained. As a matter of fact, I toured in terms of concert dance, I toured with Lula Washington Dance Theater, like that. So that's very strict, very
dance company,
ballet,
right.
contemporary, modern background is what I came from.
Okay.
So.
But you always had hip hop in your blood.
But I always had, because hip hop was on the street. No one was taking hip hop.
That's what I was telling people. I was telling someone the other day. I came to LA and I remember going to the audition. I'm kind of dating myself, y'all.
Okay.
But I went to the Bodyguard audition, and all them technical dancers was looking at me like, "Who is he? This is our world."
Right.
And because I was telling people in the early 90s, it was difficult for hip hop dancers because the technical world was still doing what they did. And so I said, now.
Yeah.
It just took over the world, but I said in the beginning it wasn't
like that.
It wasn't like that. I said you couldn't do it, so you had to go in there and kind of, you definitely had to learn hip hop. But then I went on ahead. I had 4 years under my belt. I went to college. I just didn't graduate that last year, but I had all ballet, jazz, modern, all that, which helped me be a better hip hop dancer. And basically a dancer, because the dancers were saying the hip hop dancers or the street dancers are not real dancers.
Right. Yes. I remember that.
So,
but then if you think about it, that was back in the kind of like fame era when everything was about turns and legs and everything like that. You know what I mean? We was coming to auditions in leotards and tights.
I know, that's what I was. So you danced for them, then you left. Then how did you get back to choreographing for them?
So basically what happened was I did stay in touch with a lot of like the performer. The thing that's crazy, people that perform at Disney perform everywhere. They end up going on Broadway, they end up going on tour and everything like that. And Disney is a place where, because it's a career-based place, it's a place where you can go and have a job. A lot of people stay connected. So they'll go and do other gigs, but then they'll come back. You know what I mean? Like that. So I always stay connected. And a lot of them were following me in terms of what I was doing in the actual industry. So I started doing choreography in the industry. I kind of stopped the whole auditioning thing, and I actually worked for RCA Records. And that's when I met Richard Jackson. And actually, that's when I met Kenneth Marcus or whatever. So I choreographed along with Richard Jackson the 2000 Christina Aguilera tour. So when I did that, it was amazing. And it's crazy because I mean we're like still friends to this day, but we look back and we're just I
didn't even realize that, because I was doing NSYNC when you was doing Christina then.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we did that actual whole tour. That tour was Destiny's Child, Christina Aguilera, and Before Dark.
Okay.
And so the actual manager, Michelle LaFour, she was the one that actually brought me on. And so me and Richard we did that actual whole tour. So once I did that, that's what kind of opened the door. And then I started doing different artists.
Right, the whole thing. Right.
You just started doing that. But then when I realized, I was like, I like working with artists sometimes, but I realized how much investment it is, how much work, how many hours it is, because you're dealing with artists that aren't dancers. And so
you're doing artist development with them too. And that's what I be telling people all the time. Everybody now, they're saying, I'm a creative director, I'm a choreographer, and I'm an artist development. I'm saying, okay, show me what you've done.
Right.
But it when you're not dancing, when they can't dance and they're saying, we need you to help them move. They got these amazing voices, but we need them to help you move. So you was doing it all.
I was doing it all. And so I realized that wasn't really my actual passion. Like, I really love live stage. And so I kind of went back into the actual colleges, and I started choreographing for different colleges because I had already done El Camino. And pretty much what was happening was, remember how I was talking about those college consortiums? What was starting to happen was different colleges were hiring me to come and set pieces like that. Dope. And so I was kind of like, oh, this is really cool or whatever. And so that's what kind of started the trend. And I was like, no, I love working with a big cast. I love working with lots of dancers. I love working with vision and lights, and you know what I mean. I just wanted
the whole creative director, choreographer thing.
Yeah. So I think that Disney's seed was planted a long time ago. Whatever. And so with being followed consistently, I never was really interested in choreographing for Disney. I just wanted to do something like it. And the reason why, because back then Disney was more very, very cheesy, very, you know what I mean? Except for certain stage shows, you know what I mean? So Lion King was one of them, and then Hunchback of Notre Dame, we was dancing. We did 61 Batmas in like one show. Wow. You know what I mean? You had to be technical. So there was no hip hop. There was no
So you brought that to them.
style. Yeah. Well, I didn't bring it. What happened was when High School Musical came
Okay.
about, that's what started the actual change in the style.
Okay.
Because once that happened, I don't know if you remember, High School Musical was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
And so everyone was like, well, we want that because that's where everybody's looking. And then they're looking at that. They're looking at social media. They're looking at what's happening commercially. And it's like, yeah, we
It was making them dated. Yeah.
It was making them dated.
So when you brought me, this is what I thought was amazing. When I came on and I saw what you did, and I realized that they didn't even know. I was like, you don't even know what you have.
Right. Yeah.
This girl is not just hip hop street. She's your whole package. And I felt when I was there too, it just was too confined. I was like, I remember I wanted to work for Disney so bad. I was like, I want to work for Disney. And Katisha was like, well, I could try to get your interview. And long story short, I got an interview.
Right.
And they didn't call me for like a year and a half. They were concerned that I would be bored because I had worked for Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez, and that why would I want to work for Disney? I was like, well, this is the biggest.
Yeah.
You know, I could be with my son and still come and do this job and choreograph different ideas and concepts. But when I came on board and I saw what you did, I was like, okay, you're so much bigger than. Remember, I used to get. I was like, Katisha.
Yeah.
They don't even know. And what I didn't like was that they would still have to hire like a creative director to come in. And I was like, and then everybody would ask you everything.
Right.
They're asking you what to do, what to wear, what dancers gonna wear, and everything, but they didn't want to give you the credit, and then we won't even talk about the back.
Right. Yeah.
But I was really, really like, wait a minute. And I never forget just watching like, this girl is. They would match you with the director or all the people, but they was pulling from you, but they didn't want to give you. And I kept saying, Katisha, I don't want to work here. I'll just do what I'm doing. So they what's your name, me out, contracted me out, and I was like, I'm good with this. Yeah. After them 2 months, I was like, well, I'm glad. Thank you, Jesus. Jesus knew. I was like, no, my mouth is too big, and I'm too much of a rebel to go ahead and work with them. But I was so glad when you was like, I'm leaving. I'm doing something. I did enjoy dancing, performing arts, Disney performing arts.
Yes, yeah.
I enjoyed that. Let me just tell you what I didn't like.
Okay.
I loved it. By the way, when you're at Disney and you work for Disney, you can't record nothing in the studios. And I was choreographing all these routines.
Right.
And I worked for them for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I did it like two and a half years. You hooked me up with that, which is Disney, but it's separate from Disney.
Right.
For all y'all don't know, it's called Disney Performing Arts. But what I got to the point where it was two things. Every time I would teach, I would not see a brown or black kid come in that class.
Right.
Come in the studio. And I was like, oh, this is dope. But, you know, and they were, I have to admit, all the kids were always welcoming and fun and energetic and everything. But I kept saying, well, wait a minute. What? And then I found out how Disney Performing Arts works. Right. And I was like, well, have the black kids in the black schools and just the communities don't know.
They don't know about it.
They don't know about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they need to know because, I mean, 20 and 30 pop, 30,000 a pop, 30K to get in that joint.
Right.
Or whatever, because it costs a lot to do. So that's what used to bother me. But I was like, and then one time what happened was I had never videoed my choreography. And I was like, I want to video this.
Right.
This routine is dope. Girl, I videoed it on a Saturday, and I had never posted it. I posted it. Disney called me Monday morning. Tony, this is such from the such. And I was like, yeah, what's on? This is Disney. They was like, well, you've posted on your social media. It was on my Instagram and Facebook, and we need you to take it down right away. And what I felt was that, wait a minute, is this my choreography or is this Disney's choreography? Right. I mean, did you ever feel like, I felt, because I was constantly creating routines. Right. Those routines were not even going outside of that room. And because the kids were coming, I did have a couple schools reach out to me and say, can we do the choreography that you did?
Yep. Yeah.
Right? And I was like, well, then it's not really even locked into Disney's walls.
Right.
But it wasn't, I mean, I was hired for them, but it wasn't their choreography because it wasn't a show. Yeah. And so they told me, they said, well, you have to take it down right away. You have minors in there and da-da-da-da. And who videoed this for you? I said, them.
Right.
They videoed. They wanted to video and everything. And I said, you know what? I just want to let you guys know, you know what? This is the end of me being with you guys. You can just, let me go, well, we're going to let you know that HR will probably be calling you for other things and have you posted it anywhere else. And then you guys got yucky. And I was
like, what's that about?
okay, you're not going to control my creativity like this. This is not, and I hadn't posted routines. Girl, I had created so many routines and hadn't posted. Everybody's like, why you don't teach? Why you don't do this? I was doing everything in there. 30, 40 kids. I'm teaching in these amazing studios, but you can,
But you can't even show
it.
Right.
So, but you still do it though.
Yeah, I do still do it. But there's a lot of changes happening. Okay. So basically, this is actually public, so I'm actually okay with this. Okay. But Disney Performing Arts brings in like 30% of the actual income.
I believe that.
They do, and the world on a wide scale still doesn't know about it. And we had a major meeting, and we talked about the things that are needed, the things that need to change, everything like that. Well, social media is like the actual major thing. Disney actually asked them to actually bring in more income. And you already know me. The first thing I said, I was like, you don't bring more income, you would need to do social media. Mm-hmm. That's going to do it, because there's still a whole lot of the world that doesn't know about this. And now there's actually more of us, the more colored people that are actually on the actual team. And they were speaking up too. And they were saying, like, I mean, I tour all over and teach master classes. And when I speak on this, they don't even know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, what is going on? So I let them know that. Not only that, but Disney is actually redoing like their whole thing, because after they put up the Star Wars world, they're literally they just tore down all of like one whole side where all the dance studios were, and basically Disney Performing Arts didn't have a home. So basically we were going to have to go off property, like all these different things. Well, long story short, now Disney Performing Arts is going to be moving into the ESPN Zone building.
Oh wow, that's dope. That's
dope.
It's in downtown Disney?
That's in downtown Disney.
Okay.
And they had turned, after ESPN Zone was closed, they turned that into Disney Pop-Up. So Disney Pop-Up, they had created this whole thing where you go in and you just take pictures. They have all these pop-up pictures, huge pictures, Disney stuff. I mean, it's like amazing. So what they're doing is they're going to keep that actual artwork up. Okay. And turn it into the studios, which now is going to allow us to take pictures, to do video, and all those different things, because technically we are off of the actual property. That's number one. Number two, they are waking up and seeing that like this is the actual missing element. There's so many. It's gonna
keep them current, because they be thinking they're current,
and they're not.
But they're not.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah. And there's so many. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I've actually posted. As a matter of fact, I have stuff that's up there now that I just was kind of like, well, they posted it, so you know what I mean, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But now that
I think it's been 2 years since I
since
left.
You've been gone. Yeah. So now that contract is over, we have some flexibility. But once we move into ESPN Zone, which is supposed to be in January, that is supposed to be completely lifted. And literally, when we were in the meeting, everyone was like, "Thank God!" Like, this has been a major missing element, and the only way you're going to touch the whole world is to be able to use social media.
That's right.
And people have to see us in class, and they have to go, "Oh my God, I can go take a master class at Disney." Like, come on,
That's crazy. I think that I love the idea and concept and everything, but I just like they was pissing me off. Anyway, so that's so much for them. So wait, okay, a couple things. What do you want people to know about Katisha Adams? So by the way, you guys, we'll put it up on our we'll put it up on the screen when you guys watch this podcast, but you got to follow her on her Instagram. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Katisha Blaze.
And what's your YouTube? You got a YouTube?
I don't.
You got Facebook?
I don't. I do have Facebook.
Okay.
Same thing.
They both connected. You guys go follow her. Mm-hmm. But what do you want people to know about you?
Well, the thing about me is not only am I a choreographer, and when I say choreographer, a lot of times when you say choreographer, people say, "Oh, you choreograph dances." Well, I actually go around now and I teach master classes on teaching dancers how to be successful in the industry. And so
Girl, that's so loud. That's so needed. That's so needed, because people still don't know.
They don't know.
And the whole Instagram thing it's like fake TV now.
It is. It's fake.
Very like fake TV now, because I mean, go ahead, go finish.
So I mean, the thing is, I mean, we can both attest to this. I mean, like my actual first agent was Bobby Ball.
That was my
And
first
that was yours
agent.
too, right?
Teresa.
Yeah, we was yes. So I was with Bobby Ball, but no one guided me. You know what I mean? I signed, and then all of a sudden I was at this audition, that audition, whatever. But no one goes, okay, what do you specialize in? What is it that you really want to do? Do you want to do Broadway? Are you a singer too? Do you act? You know what I mean, or whatever? And what it is when you come, everyone wants to come to LA
To dance.
to dance and do what? You know what I mean? And so when I go around to all these different master classes, like I did this one in January with Anthony Burrell, and we talked about this, and literally all the dancers were like, yeah, I know that I want to dance, but I don't really know what I want to do. And then people started being like, I don't want to dance behind an artist. I actually want to be on live stage or whatever. So basically what I do, I use the Disney platform, because you can have a decent career at Disney. People don't know about the actual cruise ships. They don't know that there's Disney Hong Kong, there's Disney Shanghai, there's Disney
Paris.
Korea, Paris. There's it's everywhere. And people don't know that. They just think like Disneyland. And I'm like, no. There's a whole lot.
Right.
And there's also Disney concerts. And Disney concerts are for singers that move. They tour all over the world. They make very, 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 very good money. You know what I mean? So there's all these different things. And then people think like, oh, it's just parades. No, there's parades. There's AGBA. There's tracking. There's all these different levels.
It's definitely basically you letting everybody know this could be a career.
Right.
It's a career too.
It's an actual career.
People don't think think like that. When they think Disneyland, they just think rides and the amusement park.
Right.
But it's careers behind that. So
It's
it's
very,
people that
very
make
career
that happen.
based. And not only that, but it's a place while you're here in LA and you're auditioning, you can have something coming in consistently. Also, it's also a launch for you to go into different areas, because there's a lot of dancers that they don't necessarily want to be a dancer. They want to go into directing, or they want to go into stage management. And it's a place where you see all of that, because Disney is nothing but entertainment. And Disney is the biggest entertainment, in terms of capital.
Company, yeah.
They are definitely,
Right.
you know what I mean, it. And so when you're there, no matter what you do, everything is team. Everything, like, that's the one thing I always loved about being there. I didn't have to wear 9 hats. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the choreographer and associate director.
But you
That's
usually
it.
do, because they come to you for everything.
Which is
they
true.
came to you for everything. It was like, y'all, hey, they had to try shoes on, right, y'all? Okay, so shoes. They wanted to find out what shoes work. So they went and got a few pair of shoes, and Katisha would have to bring the shoes in, try the shoes on, and
Right.
work with them, and then do a report on how they feel and the way that they work. And then from there, she would take it back to the person that's in charge of the shoes.
Right.
And then she would say, these work better for the dancers, these work better. They would document that. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah, they would document
They
it.
document it, and then they turn around and then they pick that shoe and another shoe. They supply you with everything you need, though.
Right.
I know I loved
Yeah.
my 2 new pair of shoes.
Well, the thing with that is this. In the past, a lot of times, even though you have a team, a lot of the costume directors and all these different people, they would not include the choreographer.
Right.
And the thing is, the choreographer is the one that's creating what's happening. So if I'm creating what's happening, I need to be in touch with everything. I need to know what kind of floor we're going to be on, what kind of shoes we're going to wear, what kind of costume, how flowy is the costume. And the thing that was happening in the past is that even though it's a team, like, how does wardrobe and costume design come up with this whole thing without collaborating with the choreographer?
Right.
What is your vision? What are you doing? Are you doing choreography on the floor? Y'all sliding? Y'all doing all kinds?
That's right. Because you are able to tell them what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
And they come to you more so before they kind of make the whole thing and
Right.
figure it out. And then they usually just create it, and then the dancer had to adjust every way.
Or you start having injuries, you start having problems, people getting scratched up by a costume because the fabric is not cool. You know what I mean? I mean, you have all kinds of issues. I mean, if we really talk about Disney, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that happened with Lion King on Broadway. Lion King in the park, we definitely had costume issues. I mean, I can't tell you about the times that I went home and had splinters in my skin. You know what I mean? It's because you're going for a look, but no one is going, okay, let's try this out. Let's put this on a dancer and see what is going to happen. You know what I mean? The headpieces, they look amazing, but oh my God, you know what I mean? So the thing is that what I feel like I brought to the table was bringing the team together for real.
That's great.
Like when you do production, there needs to be pre-production, which means that we need to talk about this before you guys even start going into, let me pull this fabric, this. Because what happens is everyone just goes to their corners.
That's right.
And they just go, okay, I got this, I got this, and then you come in there and everybody got costumes on. Well, we need to open in 2 weeks.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we don't have time to send that back. And
So you done kind of brought everybody together,
Yes.
and that's good. That's
Yes.
good. That's good. That's
Yes.
good. So that's where you focused in on that, doing the master classes and
right.
all of that.
So I'm doing that, but then I'm also doing fitness. So that's the other thing. Fitness is my love because most dancers are not fit. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother conversation.
Speaking of when you say dancers not fit, what do you think the climate now of dancers is? What do you see the dance world going? I ain't gonna say without.
It's very scary. It's very scary because dance is a discipline. You know what I mean? Dance has different cultures. It has different backgrounds. And dance is something that you go, you study, you discipline yourself, and you're very humble in that discipline. It's just like martial arts. You know what I mean? Martial arts is not something that, if you think about it, now you see it on YouTube and everything like that. But martial arts, it's not about showing off. It's about you having that, whatever. With dance, we do have to show it off. But now it's become more of people want to be famous. You know what I mean? People are not doing it because of the art form. They're doing it because, dance is popular. I'll never forget when So You Think You Can Dance came out. And it's almost like there was like a love-hate type of thing. It's like, I love it, but I hate it. And I hate it because it turned dance into something else. And now everybody wants to dance. And everybody that wants to dance is not a dancer or has the real love and passion for it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And everybody that dances are not they're not choreographers.
Or a teacher.
They're not choreographers. They're not teachers. They're not teachers. They're not teachers. They're not choreographers. I just want to keep saying that because it has bothered me so. It is 1 million choreographers on Instagram, and there's 1 million teachers on Instagram, and it's sad to me because I have a 13-year-old son. I'm looking for a teacher.
Right.
Instagram looks great, but as soon as I get to the class, they're not teaching.
They don't know how to teach.
Everybody's videoing, everybody's doing what they're doing, and I'm like, where are we going with this?
Right.
Because the new generation, I don't really think they have technique under there. There's no way to go anymore.
Right.
So if we don't come and try to guide these dancers, you got dancers. I know one dancer from back east came out here with his mom dancing. 15, 16, just want to dance. He want to go to everybody that was hot on Instagram classes.
Right.
Well, everybody that's on Instagram classes, they fill in classes and they're not
They're not
hiring.
Yeah,
They're not hiring. They're not getting any great jobs. You're not getting world tours. You're not getting, there's like 3 or 4 that I'm like, oh my God. Phil Wright is amazing.
Yeah.
Phil is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's because Phil is from where we're from.
Right.
That's why he's rising. Everything he's doing is just rising. It's because he's coming from the heart and he's coming from real dance.
Right.
He's not coming from, let me just make up a routine and put it to the music.
Right.
And let me just make this money. His focus is not, everybody want to make their money and have the bag, but his focus is also, he has such a great following and he's great. It's a couple that are great, but the majority of that are using that, I'm like, man, this ain't even routine. And what is dance now? Because I see so many different variations of, is it movement?
Right.
Can we call it dance?
Right.
Is it, what is it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in that, I'm there. So like you said, it's a very scary place right now. It's real iffy and shaky. And so.
And then also the thing that happens is when you're going and auditioning and hiring these dancers, now you're dealing with trying to figure out who is really a dancer and who has the discipline versus these people that are coming in and just like, oh, I just want to do this like show real quick.
That's exactly right, yo.
You know what I mean?
Or they can't. I be telling everybody, I'm like, okay, they did their routine dope, but then they have no endurance at all. They can't even make it through 3 or 4 shows, 3 or 4 numbers.
Yep.
If you do a world tour, you're doing 3 to 7 to 10 to 20, depending on the artist you're working with.
Right.
Clothes change, everything.
Yeah.
They don't adapt to the different. It's just so much, and I was like, I don't want to be one of those people that is like a hater.
Right.
So that's why I was like, okay, but I just like, okay, I need to pull some of these young people to the side and say, look, if you're gonna do this,
right, you gotta do it for real.
If you're gonna do this, and we ain't never been just dancers and choreographers. We're a little bit of everything. That's why I'm producing, directing, talk shows, podcasts. You can do doing it all.
Right.
But if you're gonna do it great.
Right.
Not a piece of something here, not a piece of something there.
And it takes time. You know what I mean? It takes time. Everything now is fast. Everything is, I'm just going to turn this on Snap, do this real quick. Everything is fast, and no one wants to think long term. Okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to be in class. That's the other thing. It's like you need to be in class. Training is something that you do consistently.
Ain't nobody in class. Look, they go take the classes.
Yeah.
This is what I never forget my agent said. He said, Tony, it's a big problem with they're going to take the classes, and then when it's time to do the routine, the teachers or the instructors or the choreographers or the people that's making up the routines, whatever you want to call them, they're pulling them out and they videoing the best, and they're paying $20 and they're not getting any technique, any teaching. Pull up here, stretch here, do this here, blah, blah, blah. You need to do this more. You focus on blah, 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 blah. Everybody want to just get on there. And what I noticed is that people also are trying to do online classes. There's nothing like the experience of being in a class and the emotions and the feeling. When I would be on the road and I'd be with other dancers dancing, I'm doing routines and stuff, I would feel the energy of that routine. And that would pull me up and I would be like, boom, 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 boom. That's not happening no more.
Yeah, because
so what happens is you see this amazing, they style, they look good, the clothes look good, all this stuff they did on Instagram, and then you try to get them to really present that in person, and you don't get it.
You don't get it. You don't get it at all.
You don't get it. So
and then you have all those different elements. You have the performance aspect of it. You have the technique, like you said. You have the endurance. It's all these other different elements that are not there because they're doing their concept of. Doing your concept of is watching it and pulling it, as opposed to experiencing it and going through the pain, going through the struggle, going through the, you know how we did when we was in class, child, you was sweating. They said you sit in second position and stay there. You know what I mean? And that's building your mind.
I had a teacher tell me, my son was in the class. I had a teacher tell me, my son didn't like that he had posted, and he posted everything. He just kept posting. Okay. And I was like, well, you don't really want to post the word stuff, because it's representing you too. Right. And so I came to him. He said, well, I think if they see their mistakes, they'll pull up more. I said, you didn't learn like that. Right. I said, all of us learn. We would mess up, and we would video it, and we're able to study it on the video, and then we say, okay, I go back. I need to do this. I need to do that. I said, you sitting up here teaching a class, and then you posting it the next day. That's crazy. And you putting it in front of the whole world for them. I said that knocks down the confidence of everything. I was like, yeah. But I was like, I taught all this summer, and I was like, I didn't put none of the kids on to the last day of class. Right. And they were amazed. They had all the routines. We did like 10 routines throughout the whole summer. Right. They were excited about it. They didn't feel I had like 25 kids. Out of the 25, 10 probably were dancers. Right. But it was all about building their confidence and building up what they had and keep going. It was all levels and everything. So they were excited. He was like, they should see their faults, and if they see their faults, I said, wow.
That's not how you do it.
So I told my son, I said, listen, when he starts videoing, if you don't want it, if you don't want to be videoed, you just step aside. Yeah. And then when you go, I said, but you're supposed to be in here for class. It's not a performance right now. It's the class. What is it?
It's class, yeah. Right? Yep.
So it's crazy. I'm so glad we've had Katisha Adams, y'all. Yeah. I am so excited about her. We gonna probably have Katisha on once a month or something like that, because we can talk about different things that she's doing. So what's the next? So you're doing the fitness thing and everything. Right. What's like you're doing the Disney Performing Arts.
Right, doing that, and I'm still touring. Like I'm actually going to New York in November. I'm working with Kford. And Kford is a whole dance
That's dope.
Convention. And I'm doing exactly that. I'm actually training teachers as to how to guide their dance teachers. Their dance students.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So y'all follow Katisha at Katisha
Blaze.
Mm-hmm. On Instagram. We want to thank again. Shout out to everybody. Shout out everybody. We love her. We appreciate her being here. Thank y'all too. And holla at your boy. You can stream on Google, Spotify, etc., etc. Welcome to the Tony Michael Show podcast.